This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
So several days ago, Hunter Biden appeared before the House Oversight Committee. I believe that was the committee. Let me look here. I've got transcripts to read from. The Committee on Oversight and Accountability, the joint with the Committee on the Judiciary, the House of Representatives. So this is the committee chaired by Jim Comer, and the Judiciary Committee chaired by Jim Jordan. I think he may have gotten his law degree out of a candy box, like in the Hubba Bubba or the what's the baseball card, Big League Chew or whatever, you'd get a prize in there. Cracker Jack. We'll just say Cracker Jack. That's where he got his law degree. It very well could have been a correspondence course type of deal. And he's the Republicans' choice to be the Judiciary Chairman. Now I'm far afield. I digress. Matt Gaetz went on Fox News yesterday and was talking about, or maybe it was the day before, but very recently he went on and he was talking about a line of questioning that was presented to Hunter Biden in their quest to impeach Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, not running for office, never has, never will. And it was about his drug use. And a lot of it was about the drug use. But Matt Gaetz made a particular statement in this clip that is absolutely just projection, and he's avoiding, very conspicuously in my mind, avoiding what his behavior is. This is projecting what he wanted to ask on someone else and avoiding an actual interaction that he had with Hunter Biden in the moment that I'm going to read from you from the transcripts that he doesn't want people to hear. So first, here's Dum Matt Gaetz, and then we'll get to what actually took place in the committee.
And so my brilliant colleague, Harriet Hageman of Wyoming, she said, well, if what you were in charge of was transparency and oversight, were you ever transparent enough to share with the people who you sat in fiduciary for that you were on drugs, that you were high, that you weren't doing that job? And of course, then, Hunter Biden got very pious and suggested that it was rude to ask anyone afflicted with addiction these questions.
One, we have the evidence. I've got the transcripts of whether or not Hunter Biden was pious about it, whether Hunter Biden was a pearl clutching, oh, how dare you ask me questions about this? It's not how it went down. In fact, the truth is a lot more embarrassing for Matt Gaetz. And I want to read from this transcript of what took place between Hunter Biden and Matt Gaetz, that you notice Matt Gaetz isn't talking about this particular interaction that's directly related to the subject matter at hand, and it is Hunter Biden's drug use. This is part of it. Starts with Mr. Gaetz. Were you on drugs when you were serving as the Burisma board member? Abby Lowell steps in to speak. That is Hunter Biden's lawyer, and says, I'm not objecting to that. Hold on. One of the things that I spoke to the staff that you just asked about as to whether it's outside the bounds. If you want to spend the next part of the last hour you have asking about his drug use, go at it. It's outside the scope. It certainly has no relevance to an impeachment, nor does it have anything to do with oversight or ethics legislation that may address family members of presidents or vice presidents. So go at it, but it's outside the scope and you're wasting your time. Now, this was Hunter Biden's lawyer, Abby Lowell, famous lawyer. And then it bounces right back to between Matt Gaetz and Hunter Biden, where Hunter Biden isn't taking it lying down. Look, I've had my criticisms for Hunter Biden. People criticize me for criticizing him because a lot of people look at this as a team sport and everything Biden has to be good and there can be no criticism for any member of his family. I don't feel that way. I believe he absolutely has traded on his name. I don't have a name to have traded on. I don't have wealthy parents. I grew up very, very poor. So I don't understand it. And it's not something I admire. He didn't make his own way. He used his dad's coattails to get where he gets. Maybe I'm resentful. I don't know. Maybe. We can analyze that at a later date. But in this case, he was being straight up. He was being honest. He was being earnest. And he wasn't taking this abuse lying down. He faced it head on with Matt Gaetz and turned it right back around on him. This is when Abby Lowell stops and Matt Gaetz begins again. Mr. Gaetz, Were you on drugs when you were on the Burisma board? Hunter Biden. Mr. Gaetz, look me in the eye. You really think that's appropriate to ask me? Mr. Gaetz, absolutely. Hunter Biden, of all the people sitting around this table, do you think that's appropriate to ask me? Mr. Gaetz, yeah. Are you going to answer it? Mr. Lowell, the lawyer, you don't have to answer it. Hunter Biden, I'm going to answer it. I've been explicit about. Mr. Gaetz interrupts. So you're telling me, the witness, Hunter Biden, I will answer it this way. I have been absolutely transparent about my drug use. Again, I spoke to you all earlier this morning about that. I'm sorry, I'm an addict. I was an addict. I have been in recovery for over 4.5 years now, Mr. Gaetz. I work really, really hard at it. Let me answer. I work really hard at it under an enormous amount of pressure. Was I an addict? Yes, I was an addict. What does that have to do with whether or not you're going to go forward with an impeachment of my father, other than to simply try to embarrass me? Now, there are two elements to this that I want to talk about. First, this is absolutely just an endeavor to embarrass Hunter Biden, who has his own common affliction of addiction that I would not wish on anyone. It is terrible. It is not a choice he made to be an addict. That is biology and conditioning and early childhood trauma and a host of different things that lead to that. It's a bummer. But the other part of this is, of all the people sitting around this table, do you think that's appropriate to ask me? Of all the people asking questions here, of all the people who are alleged cokeheads and ecstasy users and drug users themselves, Matt Gaetz, using drugs to ply young women allegedly into sexual relationships or just sex in general, you're going to ask me that question. See, this is someone who is defiant, but in the right way. For the right reasons. It is proper in this case. And Matt Gaetz is such a coward that he can't just do it when in his Fox News hit. He's got to put it on somebody else as asking the questions about the drugs. And then Hunter Biden act all pious. Does this seem pious to you? Does this seem out of line to you? No. But you're not going to expect truth from Matt Gaetz. You're not going to expect honesty and earnestness in questioning or in public media appearances from Matt Gaetz. Anyway, I thought this was important. I thought this was interesting. I thought you would be interested in this. Not shocking news, not breaking news that Matt Gaetz is a scoundrel and an agent of chaos and an absolute alleged problematic figure criminal-wise. Anyway, there is an ethics investigation that is ongoing. And if you listen to Kevin McCarthy, which I don't, it might not end well. And it might end up in criminal charges for Matt Gaetz for some of the most despicable crimes that you can be charged with, that you can be accused of, that you could have committed. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily at dollemore.com. And if, I'm losing my voice, and if, wow, I did it again. And if you appreciate what I do and you want to help support this work, I would appreciate you considering it. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. You can go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can hit the super thanks button. There are a number of different ways, but make sure you're subscribed. I'm within 10,000, maybe even 9,000 now, of getting to 600,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed and you appreciate what I do, please hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I am going to see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.